Hi, guys. I'm back with Dr. Alex once again today, and we are going to be talking about mindset as it relates to healing and just, life in general, because we really believe that everything that you do starts in the mind. If you can't believe it, then you can't achieve it. And whatever your mind tells your body to do is literally what it's going to do. So we're going to talk and tell you, some stories, personal stories maybe, and then, chime in if you have any questions. So welcome back, Dr. Alex.
Hello, Sierra. Thank you for having me again. Yes, today is the mindset. We actually call it Monday mindset, right? It
Mhm.
is the start of the week. It's when you set your intentions to what your weekday is going to look like. And then you try and hold yourself accountable to that. And if you can, you always have a group of people that you are accountable to. So that way, there's no excuses, right? As
Mhm.
to what you plan to achieve for the week. So, yeah, mindset is a huge thing. And I think I'll start off with an example here. Which side do I have a zit on? Like, literally, after a year or so of having a really, really clear skin, I have a zit on one of the sides. I think it's right here. And I recently started doing the nettle infusions. So, as Sierra knows, and some of you who have done a lot of herbal stuff, you guys know that nettle tea is designed as a main detox in your
Mhm.
body. So, when I saw this, I was like, I could go back to my old mindset, which says, oh my God, what is happening here? But then when I pull myself back and I realize that the body is doing exactly what I've asked it to, right? I am drinking something that's supposed to expel any remaining toxin that my body has inside. Hence, your skin is going to start breaking out. Perhaps you might have a rash on your body. All of those are things that tell me that the body is actually doing what I asked it to do by consuming nettle infusion. However, you might be in the mindset that says, oh my God, my body is broken. I need to cover this. And that's perhaps a mindset that we'd like you to acknowledge that it's there, of course, but it perhaps something that you are looking to work through and recognize that the body and you can do so much more. So that's a little bit of a story about where my mindset is now. My mindset used to be, I'm going to go poke at it, pop it.
Mhm.
Now I just kind of look in the mirror and I say to myself, you're beautiful. And that
Mhm.
automatically calms me down and it takes away that stress response that I just want to control this because I'm not supposed to control this. I'm just supposed to let the body express this. So that's the beauty of a mindset, right?
Right, absolutely. And I think the other thing that we have to understand is that when you are cleansing or, just if something happens within your body in general, and you start to notice symptoms. So, for example, a lot of times when we do these detoxes, I know me personally, I started last month, I want to say, and I started detoxing different things in the body. So I started with the colon, then I went to my kidneys and my liver, and currently I'm doing a heavy metal detox with cilantro, and I also added in some chlorella last week.
Nice.
And as soon as I started the chlorella, if I did a little bit, I would notice that I would get tired. But when I added a little more, the first thing that happened is that I started to kind of feel a little bit itchy, and my face started breaking out a little bit. And every time I detox, my face breaks out, and then I'm left with the acne scars and all of this. But after all of that is over and my skin gets back to normal, then it's fine. But if I started to freak out because, oh my God, this is happening, or, if you're diagnosed with something and it's like the first thing your mind goes to is, oh no, I have insert disease, then, you allow yourself to get stressed, which causes issues within the body, as we know. Your mind starts to go to all of the worst case scenarios. Oh my God, I'm going to die, or whatever it is. And then that starts all of these chain reactions in your body. But there are people with stories who have been diagnosed with crazy things like aggressive cancers that have just decided in their minds that I am going to heal. And they've overcome these things. They started doing things like laughing and watching funny movies and enjoying life and just treating their bodies well. And they were able to heal. So I think it's all about the way you think about the situation. If someone tells you you have something going on, or if you're doing a detox or whatever it is, and something happens in your body, you have to get in your mind that I am going to beat this. I am going to heal. It's going to be okay, no matter what you see in front of you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just read I read this recently, but I also knew this, so it just came in right in time. It says, keep in mind that it takes 3 to 5 positive thoughts to counter a single negative one. So that is how impactful and really able to drive our life our negative self-talk is. So we have to be extremely cognizant of where we give our power to, because it really is that our thoughts drive our behavior. What you tell yourself in the morning drive your behavior. I had a pretty lazy day today. So literally, I was just telling myself, "Oh, it's okay. You won't have to do anything." And I was in bed for almost till like 11 o'clock. So really, the body does what the mind tells it to, and those behaviors just go hand in hand. So you have to be cognizant of what you tell yourself. If I was to tell myself constantly, Alex, the zit is really making you ugly, it's taken away from my confidence, it's taken away from a lot of things, then that's what you manifest. And then that's what you draw into your life, guys. So it's crucial that we all become a little more gentle to ourselves as when we talk to ourselves, how we address ourselves, and how do you look yourself in the mirror, and what is the first thing that you see. That is crucial in the way we heal, in the way we attract other companionship, success into our life. Absolutely everything stems with that mindset of how we focus on energy. And one of the first books that I read in this sphere of self-development is that controlling your mind, controlling your thoughts, and always looking for an opportunity in everything that happens is the 5 love languages, actually. And I understood what it means to me to be perhaps wounded by somebody's action, and it talks to me that perhaps they don't care about me. I knew how to address that with them, and I knew then how to not rev myself up to say, okay, so this is how they perhaps express their love, but this is not what I need from them. So you have to tell them, this is what I need in order for this relationship to continue. Then the next book I read is The Law of Attraction. I feel like that book also changed a tremendous way I look at things. And the more you give yourself permission to tell yourself that you deserve the best things that are available to you, and I don't mean like in the circumstance right now, I mean literally dreaming and shooting for the stars, it is available to you. You're not your circumstance. And I know most of us have heard that. You are your circumstance. No, you're not. You are currently based on where your beliefs are that have been compounded by people that you surround yourself with. But perhaps those are not always true. And as you will find, as you dig deeper into this work, most of your beliefs are actually not true. They're just fabrications of limitations that have been put on you by the people that you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's so true. And that starts early. Dr. Alex and I were actually talking about our book list. And I'm going to take these off because the light is blinding me. But we were talking about our book list before. And one of my favorite books is The Four Agreements. And it's by Don Miguel Ruiz. And it just talks about that mindset thing and how those negative thoughts that we have and those negative beliefs that are given to us, kind of when we enter the world. You enter the world, you are surrounded by your parents and your family members and your friends, and we take in all of those beliefs. And if they tell us, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that, and a lot of us have had that teacher or that person that said, you can't do this, you'll never be whatever. And we take all of these things in, we start to believe them. And because we believe those things, our actions follow suit. So if you go, into a situation where maybe it's something like COVID and what's happening and people are losing their jobs and all of these things, and they think, oh, I can never start a business, or oh, my fertility treatments got pushed back, I can never get pregnant, or I can never feel better, I can never, whatever it is, it all goes back to those things that you've been taught and those things that you've learned and the ideas that you have created in your head about what you are capable of doing. And most of those things are not true. Just because you have the thought doesn't mean that it's true. And that's something that we all have to learn, is that most of the beliefs that we have are not true, and they're not even our own. It's just something that's been placed on us by society or by, those people that we surround ourselves with. So when you're on the healing journey, it's important that you surround yourself with positive people and that you're reading positive things, you're listening to positive things, because the more you hear great things, the more your body will start to do great things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Greatness all around. I love that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys really believe we were created by accident? That what we have is an accident? If that's the mindset you have, I challenge you to kind of look deeper. Really. Would the fact that we have two eyes, two ears, one mouth, is that all an accident? I doubt it. And in most every sphere in your life, you don't think that. So why would you think about your ability? It's an accident that you're here by an accident. No, you're here because of, again, the actions and the beliefs that got you here. And so if we reassess some of those limiting beliefs, some of those things that have been placed on us, again, by our parents, most likely, but that's because that's what their truth was when they were teaching us things. And a lot of things change. In my family, literally, it's known that you barely ever take any risks, right? And we know that without a risk, there's no reward, period. So you just kind of meander through your life by being happy with what you got, and that what you got is maybe a 9 to 5 job that you probably don't like, but you keep going because it pays for the rent,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But you can change that. You can definitely change that. And you can create a life that's full of vibrancy, full of joy, full of health, full of people that you enjoy. When I went back to school for the 5 years ago, back to chiropractic college, the first thing that they used to tell us is to get rid of negative people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And if your circle of 5 people, no matter how close or how related they are to you, they don't really applaud and they don't approve of your vision, they're not your 5 circle of friends, guys. They need to be replaced by people who will applaud no matter how small a success or a accomplishment that you make towards the bigger goal. And
Mhm.
even if you never achieve a bigger goal, it's those small steps that make a huge difference. It's that working towards something that you're always going to be putting forth effort into, right? Because again, the minute you stay stagnant, you're really not stagnant, you're actually dying. You're going in reverse. So
Mhm.
again, for me, that was extremely difficult to stomach because for a long time I circled myself with just a lot of people who were blood related to me. And I
Mhm.
noticed that a lot of them were not cheering me on. That, as a matter of fact, would sometimes blatantly to my face, which is okay, tell me, I was crazy to even go back to school. Why would I do this? Why would you do that? And you're like, great, that is your true color. You are somewhere stuck within your trauma, and that's great, but I want something else for my life.
Mhm.
And there is plenty of people in our community, in your world, that you can surround yourself who will compose that circle of five that will get you to make the push you need to create the life you want. Be that in relation to health, be that in relation to a relationship you want, be that whatever. So don't be afraid. Just write it out. I mean, we all have heard of vision boards, right? Put
Mhm.
your affirmations down. Um, make it a goal to read one book a month, even every other quarter, whatever. That will again challenge some of the beliefs we all have currently that are again most likely, guys, false. Once
Mhm.
you again dig deeper into this, you will find that absolutely everything in your life is just a composite of people that you have been surrounded with, and it may not even be your truth. But however, we blindly live this life because, again, change is hard. Don't get me wrong. This is not an easy path. You're going to go down, but it is such a rewarding path because it's you. You are the creator of whatever the outcome ends up being.
Yes, that is so very true. And you guys need to understand that we're not telling you to go and break up with your spouse or, whatever that may be if you feel they're a negative person or anything like that. But, if you are surrounded by people who aren't applauding you and who aren't supporting you, then maybe you need to have some of those conversations to say, I feel like I need more from you. And if you can't give that to me, then I'm going to have to walk away. If that's a friend, if that's a family member, if you notice that things are very toxic and negative in your relationships and the way that you relate to people, then not only do you have to look at them, but you also have to look at yourself as well and see maybe where you are contributing to these behaviors. Because, guys, people cannot treat you badly unless you allow them to. You
Absolutely.
don't have to be a victim in the situation. So we have to get over our victim mindset and saying, oh, they're so bad to me. They treat me this way. Okay, if they treat you that way and you don't like it, then just don't deal with them. And look at how you could have done something differently, or maybe you blew up in an argument with somebody or something. Look at your part that you played in it and how you can do things differently and how you can change the way the situation is. Don't play the victim, be a victor. So that's really what I want you guys to get. And I talk about that in my book, The Metamorphosis, 21 Days to a New You. And I try to take people through this process of changing their life through their thoughts, through the things that they take in. So, what books are you reading? What things are you listening to? What podcasts are you listening to? Are you having time in the morning for meditation? Are you doing the things that you need to do, like self care, self reflection, really looking at who you are, and not just taking what other people have said to you or said about you or done to you, and playing that victim role. So really, really doing the hard work that Dr. Alex was talking about to get to where you want to be, because this is all about you. This is not about other people. We're not talking about what they did, what they said. any of that. We're looking at you. What's on the inside of you? What do you want? What do you need? And where are you trying to go?
Uh, my mom just came in. Um, so one of the books that I am reading that I have spoken a few times on these streaming lives is U Square. It's a
Mhm,
small book that's about 35 pages long, and
mhm,
it's such an empowering book that again highlights everything that Sierra just said. It's you. You have the power to change anything you want in your life. It's you who directs how people behave towards you. It's you who have, in turn, allowed you to be where you are today in your life.
mhm,
Whether by being complacent to people around you and allowing them to treat you the way they do, or because whatever the circumstance may be, but you are the one who allowed it. And again, being a perfectionist and always kind of perhaps sometimes playing the victim game in my past life,
mhm,
right? You were always looking to blame somebody else because that's the easy way out. But
mhm,
once you look in the mirror and once you really ask yourself the question, Alex, would you be your best friend?
mm,
Ooh, do the wheels start turning and do things come up? And you're like, maybe not. So
mhm,
start looking at yourself that way. And those are the things that I kind of struggle with a lot in my life.
mhm,
Last 5 years, because that's when my transformation really started. I mean, I was always just drum into my own world. I never had, you know, a filter on myself. I always, whatever was on my thought was in my mouth, kind of thing, out my verbal communication. And yes, sometimes you have to package the message in a more gentle, loving manner. And
mhm,
as I am again growing and developing myself, I'm learning all of that. But the question that really kind of started it all for me is the one that I just posed to you. If you look yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, Alex, or John, or whoever's watching now, or Emily, or Sierra, and ask
mhm,
yourself, would you be your best friend the way you behave, the way you support, the way you applaud, the way you're present with people? Would you be your best friend? And if the answer is not, then I think we have a lot of work to do. And if it
mhm.
is, I applaud you. Share that with us because we want to learn. We want to know how you got there because that's the trick to life, right? Being happy with yourself and then everything else just falls into place.
Yes, it does. And we also have to realize that life is too short to walk around looking at everyone else and wondering what they're doing and what they have that you don't have. And to really be in a place of lack as far as your mindset goes, to always be in competition with other people and to be afraid to share something that someone else is doing because maybe they won't look at me. When you live that type of life, you're not able to fully thrive and to be the person that you were created to be because you're always living in someone else's shadow or worrying about what's happening in everyone else's life, and you're not able to focus on you. So it's really important that we understand that mindset is key. It controls everything. It's the difference between waking up on this Monday morning that is cloudy and is very gloomy and saying it's going to be a beautiful day. And waking up and saying, ugh, it's Monday again. And instead saying, wow, it's Monday. I get to go and I get to do the things that I love to do. And I got to wake up this morning and I have another opportunity to change the world. It's all in the way that you look at things that you will begin to experience life. If everything that comes out of your mouth is negative and every thought that you have is negative, then what do you think you're attracting? Why do you think those same types of friends or, relationships keep coming into your life? Is it because oh, I'm just a person that's always done wrong by everybody? Or is it maybe because of the way that you think and the way that you act? And like Dr. Alex said, maybe it's because of the kind of friend that you are. So if you're having these types of relationships, it could very well be a reflection of what is happening on the inside. And oftentimes, when you have problems with other people, it's really the problem that you have with yourself. So let's stop looking outward and start doing the work on the inside.
I love that everything comes to inside work, right? Even, I mean, I have to bring my profession into this just a little bit, right? Chiropractic. We don't really say anything is outside of you. Everything that you need is inside. So if inside gets a little wacky and you start having symptoms, then we just say something internally is not doing what it needs to. And that something internal is the internal communication that's not being properly distributed through your entire system via the highway of your brain and the nervous system. So, of course, everything is internal. And we know that. We understand that. But again, based on where we are within our beliefs, our values, and who is really controlling our response, whether it's really us being driven by our influence, or is it really based on what my intuition, gut feeling is telling me, the outcome is going to be that. I'm going to reach for something and believe it's going to help me, or I'm actually going to go and work on optimizing a system that's responsible for this. So it kind of goes hand in hand with that. And in chiropractic, we say there are three things that compromises your health: your thoughts, your physical trauma, and your chemical trauma, which can be the food you eat. Physical is, do you sit all the time? Do you have proper movement? Right? All of that. So that is what it comes to. That is what we are innately designed to always look at and address when a hiccup in the road happens. So absolutely, you mentioned your books that you really like, but I really think like I said earlier, one of my books that really I think every couple should read together, and even do a trip, for to take them out into the nature and stuff. Is the Five Love Languages. I really think every person needs to read that with their significant other, even the close friends, the gang of five that you guys have that are your kind of support circle. Should read that, because it will open up some things and the light bulb will kind of go off and the relationship will be so much better. Another thing that I think is very useful is something that we started practicing in school. I really didn't know much about it before then, but it was acronym GAS: gratitude, action, and service. So every morning you start off with a gratitude. You say today action for the day is X, and service. What are you going to do for somebody else that you encounter throughout your day? So I think that's also something that really changed a lot for me. So aside from affirmations, the gas cards, like literally reading something every day, no matter how little or how long, but it's just something again that I am tilling the soil and making sure that the soil is always getting the brain, getting that right stimulation, which is again the positive mindset, not the negative. But here's a kicker, guys. Even though you constantly tell yourself positive things, it requires action. Without action, nothing moves, right? You can't stay still, dream these things, and hopefully something falls on your head. It doesn't work that way. If I wish it.
Uh-oh. Dr. Alex, you are frozen. Oh no.
working.
Okay. Okay, I think you're back. There you are.
Okay, cool. Was it me or you? Where was I? Yeah, without an action, there is nothing's gonna happen. So you have to take action. If you want a nice body, it requires you to go to the gym 5 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a healthy body, it requires a lot of things. It requires sleep, hydration, chiropractic care, right? A lot of stuff. So nothing without action is going to happen. And that action means getting involved with people who are on the same path that you want to emulate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not per se you want to be them, you just want to emulate what is it that they did so that you can perhaps duplicate it, and then your life turns out the way it's supposed to for you. So I always used to say I don't have heroes in my life, meaning I don't have idols in my life. Excuse me, idols. I don't idolize anybody because I want to be my person, but I always will admire the route that they took to get where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I always want to know about how did they achieve what they achieved, not per se bow down to them and be like, oh, I want to be you. No,
Mm-hmm.
my heroes are my parents because they gave up so much to come to this country without speaking the language, with the hope that they were going to provide something better for me and my brother.
Mm-hmm.
But an idol? No, an idol, that's me because I want to create something that's going to stand the test of time and perhaps change one or two people while I'm on this planet. Does that make sense? So for me, I had the pleasure of watching Rafael Nadal, who's my favorite athlete in New York. But I
Mm-hmm.
never went up to him and started screaming or asked for his autograph. To me, that's like, no. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a matter of where you are in your life and what is it that you really want to achieve. You always want to be surrounded by successful people because they've already done it. You always want to be surrounded by people who have perhaps worked through a trauma because they've done it. Then you know it's possible, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to put in the work. Just because you're around them, it doesn't work through osmosis. It just doesn't. You just have to do your work.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. You have to walk through the situation. You have to allow yourself to feel the emotions and to deal with the traumas and to deal with your negativity and the mindset that you have and the way that you treat people and the way that you interact with people. And that's something that I've been working on or trying to work on more in the past few years because when you realize that a lot of things are controlled by you that you thought were just happenstance or the result of some type of circumstantial situation, and you're just like, oh, I kind of just let life happen to me. And you realize that you are a co-creator in your life and you do have control over some of the things that happen in your life. No, you don't control everything, but there are things that you can do. I can be healthier. I can have a happier mindset. I can have a happy life because the truth is that we don't know how long we're going to be here. So why live an unhappy, negative, just disconnected type of life for whatever time you have here? Why not live free, happy, connected, whole, and able to just thrive and enjoy your life? I think that is so important to understand that you do control things and you do have the power to make things different. No matter where you are right now or what's happening in your life, you can make changes. They might be the smallest little changes, but that's okay because one step leads to the next step, which leads to the next step. And as you keep growing and you keep moving, then you can reach those goals. And one day you'll get to where you're trying to be. So I think it's just so important that we don't give up, especially right now. There are a lot of people that are suffering and struggling for different reasons. And it's so important that you get that in your mind. You can change your situation. It won't be like this forever.
Absolutely. I think this is a really good place to end because
Mhm.
co-creating is such a powerful word.
Mhm.
And I think you have the power and you are the power to make the difference.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of exercising that power, right? Your mind is the biggest muscle you possess. So, when was the last time you actually exercised it? And when you go through these transformations of breaking down your self limiting beliefs that are currently controlling you, you will realize that they all melt like the extra 5 pounds you had around your midsection. All right, guys, that will be that for today. I appreciate you, Sierra, and
Thank you.
let's go exercise those minds and co-create the beautiful lives we were all meant to
Yes, absolutely. We will see you next time. Bye bye.
have. Bye, guys.